Were we wrong about the iPhone 15 Pro? Alright, so the dust has settled, the week has commenced, and the iPhone is available for pre-order. But there's one thing that surprised even me, and I'm really smart. The iPhone 15 Pro sold out. And with my own anecdotal evidence, this was one of the hardest years I have ever experienced trying to pre-order an iPhone 15 Pro Max. It literally took me 20 minutes of refreshing the Apple Store on my iPhone and my Mac and my iPad before I was finally able to get into the online store. And when I finally did get into the store, I experienced all sorts of problems with the site not letting me progress. And then when I tried to add my phone into the cart, it wasn't there. And then when I tried to do my trade-in, it was like, no, we can't process trade-ins right now. So the site was a total mess on this launch day. And the last few times I pre-ordered an iPhone, it was all smooth sailing. And I was stressing out. I was like, if I don't buy this iPhone, my life is ruined. It's over. No one is gonna take me seriously as a tech channel if I can't get an iPhone on day one. Like, how can I give you advice if I can't get an iPhone on day one? I would be ruined. I would be absolutely ruined. But thankfully, I got it for a release day. And natural titanium too, which seemed to be the most popular color, and that color sold out first. So I guess I am still a successful tech YouTuber. Now, against my own anecdotal evidence, you can see that the iPhone 15 Pro, especially the Pro Max model, was indeed popular this year, and shipping dates slipping all the way into, November. I didn't even have anything to read here. That was called acting. Yes, in fact, I saw the base model iPhone 15 Pro sell out within 20 minutes of the online store being available, and that is pretty quick, especially for like a modern day iPhone release. But think about that again. November is when these things are delayed until. It's literally the middle of September right now, and you're telling me if I buy an iPhone on Apple's website, I'm not promised to get one until November? Really? That's insane. That's kind of crazy. So either demand is super high for these phones, or Apple is having some sort of production issue where there aren't as many to actually sell right now. But listen, based on my own evidence of having so much trouble to get into the online store this morning, I'm willing to bet on the latter, and that supply for this phone far exceeded expectations, even Apple's own expectations. Now, this is a problem that is unique to the Pro models because the normal iPhone 15 is still widely available in stock and shipping out still on September 22nd, the date that it's supposed to be released. At least as I am making this video currently, I can't tell by the time this is published if those shipping dates would have slipped. Maybe they will, but for now, they haven't sold out in the online store. So what's the deal here? Why is the iPhone 15 Pro doing so well when, let's be honest, a lot of the reaction that I saw on social media talking about the latest iPhones said that the iPhone updates were boring and that Apple isn't innovating anymore, right? Remember those dumb arguments? Well, I actually think that the iPhone updates turned out to be more exciting than a lot of people give them credit for. And I think what a lot of people really found boring was the Apple event itself, which even I have to agree, it was a pretty boringly paced event, and I don't think it had the usual Apple charm that we've been seeing with a lot of these pre-recorded events. But still, despite the event being boring, and despite a lot of naysayers online, the 15 Pro, by all evidence, seems to be selling pretty well. So why is the iPhone 15 Pro seemingly doing so well? Well, I think there are a few reasons. First of all, the design. Yes, I put it up here at the top because evidence shows that people are likely to buy a new iPhone when it has a new design rather than an older one. And I know you look at the iPhone 15 Pro and you think, okay, the design really isn't that different. And you're right, it's not that different. It's not a huge difference anyway, but I do think there are a few design features here that are making people gravitate towards the Pro model. First would be that new titanium material, which I think looks fantastic in the marketing shots, and I feel like a lot of people are probably like me and think that the current Pro series is just a tad bit too heavy. Couple that together with the smallest bezels ever in an iPhone, or any phone for that matter according to Apple, and the new curvature of this iPhone that makes it easier to hold, it does have a new design, right? Finally, I think the colors this year were a hit, and there were new colors. And the natural titanium color seemed to be the most popular choice in online polls before the orders went live, and it indeed was the first color to sell out on Apple's website. So I think that is actually a pretty popular new iPhone color. Heck, even popular tech YouTubers couldn't get their hands on a launch day natural titanium iPhone 15 Pro, which I think says a lot about how popular that color is actually going to be. So yes, even though these are small visual design tweaks and cues, let's be honest, it's not a radical reinvention of the iPhone. I do think it was enough to make people feel like they needed to get this new particular model. I would also say cameras played a huge role this year in people's buying decision. I say this because the quickest iPhone to sell out was the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now think about that for a second. This is literally the most expensive base model in iPhone history at $1,200. And that $1,200 model was the first one to really sell out and see the latest shipping dates all the way into November. And it was the most popular model in my own Twitter poll. And the reason why I believe this model sold the most, other than the bigger size, was because this was the only iPhone model this year to get the new 5x camera lens. This was the only model that had the longer extended zoom range. Other than that though, all of the Pro models still get some camera upgrades this year with a larger sensor on that 48 megapixel sensor, as well as Apple's tweaked computational photography, which now bins the 48 megapixel picture down to 24 megapixels instead of 12 megapixels. This will double the default resolution on the iPhones this year, which I think is a nice surprise upgrade. Furthermore, I thought Apple utilizing the 48 megapixel sensor to give users a kind of software equivalent focal length that works similar to the 2x zoom on the existing 14 Pro Max was a really nice move to ensure that you are getting better photos throughout the 1x to 2x zoom range. And it's a clever way to make this iPhone feel like it has more cameras than it actually does. Even the A17 Pro announcement seemed to have a lot more substance to it this year, with Apple actually showing AAA games running on the iPhone 15 Pro. The gaming market is huge, and Apple already has a giant chunk of that with the casual gaming audience, but the iPhone has never really been a good home for those bigger AAA games. But that seems to be changing. And it looks like Apple wants a piece of that market as well. And I think they have a good chance this year building the groundwork to make sure that happens. And these first set of games look to be a good start. But I think even with these decisions, they really pale into the main reason why I think people bought into the new iPhones this year, and that is USB-C. Yeah, I feel like enthusiasts never want to be behind the transitional period, and you can make all the jokes you want about how USB-C is commonplace now, and how it's been on Android products forever, and how it's even been on a lot of Apple's own products for a while now, right? But there is no consumer product on Earth quite like the iPhone. When you walk into an iPhone owner's home, at least here in America, and you ask for a charger to charge your phone, they are more likely than not going to hand you a lightning cable, even if you're on an Android device. Like, the sheer amount of iPhones out there is staggering, especially in the US market where Apple holds a unique market lead over Android. And around the world, there are 1.46 billion active iPhone users. That's about 1 out of every 5 people. That's a lot of people who are still using a device with a lightning connector. And now all of those people are going to have to switch over to USB-C. This is a huge transition. And I think we're seeing that play out globally because the iPhone 14 Pro model apparently is selling out fast worldwide in other popular Apple markets like China, India, Canada, and the UK. So yeah, this is a big transition, and enthusiasts are more likely to have more USB-C products in their household, so the fact that they can now charge every device over a single cable, I think is a big reason for the iPhone 15 Pro's popularity. And furthermore, I think most users recognize that this is a permanent change, and they would rather buy these devices now when they are making that change rather than in the future. On top of that, I think this is potentially a bigger year than usual for Android switchers, whose main gripe about the iPhone, or at least for a lot of them, was the lack of a USB-C port. And if you had to ask me, I think that this is going to lead even more people switching over from Android to an iPhone this year. I feel like the data is going to show that. But yeah, either way you look at it, I think the iPhone 15 Pro is turning out to be a bigger upgrade than most people thought, especially when most people thought that iPhone sales were going to be down this year. It actually may be the opposite, and we may actually be in for a super cycle where we see more iPhone sales than we expected. So let me know in the comments below, were you happy with the updates made to the iPhone 15 Pro this year? Did you think it was a big update, and did you order one? Also, just how are you doing? How's life? I hope it's going well. I really do. I know it's been busy for me. I've been kind of feeling a little stressed, so I just want to pass on, good feelings to you. So if you like the video, give me a like. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed. I still got a lot more work to do when these phones come in by next week. So stay tuned for the full review, and I'll catch you in the next one. And I know the hair, right? People keep saying, why is your hair long? If you're a long-time subscriber, I don't know. People keep saying, why is your hair long? And I'm like, it is. But people think it's fake. People think my hair's fake and I'm wearing a wig. This hair's real, folks. This hair's real. You can't fake that.